I truly have hit the jackpot, and that is pun intended for everyone, because I get to be here Super Bowl weekend in LA with the Rams in the Super Bowl, in essence interviewing the CRO of BetMGM and the president of 72andSunny, who actually creates the Super Bowl spot. So for me, this is a big honor. My name is Scott Saperstein. I'm head of agency development at Taboola. We're the largest native platform, and in essence, we power recommendations on the open web. So I'm really excited to be here. There's so much to talk about. I thought some of the themes that we can kind of get into today a little bit is just one, tremendous growth, right, for your brand. Really a complex category, with so many different regulations. And then this really cool just intersection between sports and entertainment, from that standpoint. So I would say, my first question would be, can you take us on just the journey of building the, BetMGM brand and how you've kind of grown that over time?
Sure. Thank you, Scott. Great to be here. Great to be at an in-person event. It's been a long time, frankly. Look, BetMGM was formed with the repeal of PASPA in 2018. We started in earnest in 2019. When I started in early 19, we had about 30 people in the office. 30 people in the office at that time, I guess. We were competing with FanDuel and DraftKings, who had large enterprises already. They were in the neighborhood of 700 or 800 at that time. So we were really playing catch up. And BetMGM is a joint venture between MGM Resorts, so what you know in Vegas and elsewhere, and a large tech and sports betting operator out of Europe. They operate primarily in the UK, but also Germany, throughout Europe.
How do you go from growing the business, right, that just starts, with one location in Jersey, and now, you're in 20 states, and by the way, this is all happening during a pandemic. That's right, no less.
Yeah. So first, we had to get our act together, and that started with building a team. And this is a transactional business, meaning that our best customers might bet with us 50 times a week. So you have to make sure that your transactional platform can accept payments, can really deliver the type of experience that you want to deliver as a brand. So we spent really all of 2019 getting our act together, building out a team. And in the middle of that, COVID hit. We launched in a few markets, but we really didn't start actively marketing until we felt as though we could actually deliver the experience again that was the brand that we're trying to build. And COVID hit. I'll just get to that point. COVID hit, and resorts shut down, and the world stopped going to casinos and the like. And actually, we saw a massive acceleration of our business at that time. And since COVID, we've hired I want to say 750 or so people virtually.
Wow!
So the entire organization has been hired since COVID, mostly, and they're people who have never physically met each other, and we communicate constantly through virtual teams.
I mean, that's just, it's extraordinary when I think about what goes in probably, Brett, to just developing, this type of campaign. How do you work with talent and creative, particularly in this type of environment? I know there are, a couple of videos you guys wanted to show and prepare, just kind of walk us through that journey, if you wanted to talk to that a little bit.
Yeah, sure. So we want to.
You want to make every game interesting? Step 1, open the BetMGM Sportsbook. Step 2, put some skin in the game. And step 3, showtime. TDs, back with K's, RBIs, and the TKOs pay B-I-G. The overs, the unders, the underdogs, and the upsets. Ooh, yeah, that hits different. When they go all the way, you're all in. The buzzer beaters, the walk-off blast, and every Hail Mary pass is one tap away from you doing your victory dance. Now you're in the ring with the king of sportsbooks. You know what to do.
So I guess I can maybe jump in here. So, while BetMGM is growing, hiring lots of people virtually, we're building this campaign idea And, you know, essentially we're talking about, it's a gold rush right now for sports betting. Think about it, super cluttered category, so much noise, relatively commoditized product experience, and pretty low comprehension of products, really. So what it is now is we have to build the brand, and we have to have, in order to set ourselves apart from the other players, we have to have a unique point of view. So, you know, and where our teams collaborated on this was really in, you know, the king of sports books. We wanted to make sure that we're leaning into what's authentic to us. And so I'd say a couple of things about that. First is the emotion. There is emotion with existing in this sort of intersection between entertainment and sports. So there's this competitiveness that's super exciting, the thrill of greatness, the thrill of winning, if you're lucky. And so we wanted to make sure that that was coming through all the work that we put out into the world. You know, at the end of the day, we have to make sure that people are taking action, you know, obviously signing up, betting with us. And so, you know, we want to turn the spectators into players and really get them engaged. And so that competitiveness, the thrill, is what we really leaned into. And I'd say just lastly, the heritage. I mean, our last name is MGM, amazing. So kind of starting from a place where we can show up as the adult in the room. Again, really complicated category, but as we heard from one of the earlier sessions, you know, we have to, there's, as a leader in the category, there's a responsibility to making sure that people know how to navigate this world. And I think, you know, there's also, as the adult in the room, and as MGM, with all the amazing resorts that are part of that heritage story, we can show with a bit of swagger, a bit of confidence, and a bit of premiumness. And so we've really held on to that as we continue to evolve the campaign. I know we're going to show, maybe, I don't know if you want to add anything, but.
No, agree. It's been a great partnership with 72andSunny. We wanted to tap into that intersection of sports and entertainment. And I think the campaign, this was our launch campaign. When we went live with this campaign, we were kind of a middling player, if I'm being completely honest. We were in the 7 or 8 or so market share position. We'll talk about market share in a second with a different slide. But this was an announcement that BetMGM is here. And you'll see some of the results from there. I don't know if we got the slide.
Yeah.
The first slide is that, no, not that one.
Amanda, the results.
The
We go.
Brianna's behind you.
Yeah.
All right. So we launched the campaign. I don't know exactly where the x-axis is. I can't see it from here. Look, the campaign worked. September 20. Thanks. The campaign worked really well. Again, it happened to coincide with a time where we got our act together as an organization and started to deliver better and better experiences. We had a number of things actually happen at MGM Resorts to have them get behind our brand. We rebranded all the sports books at MGM Resorts around that same time to be BetMGM. And again, we have the benefit of having the ability to do physical, have our brand show up physically in addition to just showing up digitally.
Now, how do you go about selecting a Jamie Foxx or any of your brand ambassadors, right? From that standpoint, is there a certain process that you're working with Brad and 72andSunny to kind of, you know, understand what's going to work in terms of attracting that core, you know, sports gambler?
Yeah, again, it's that intersection of sport and entertainment. We feel like that is a place where we belong. And so Jamie Foxx Jamie Foxx is such a unique talent. He's been incredible. And he's done all kinds of work in sports movies, and then also, you know, he's just an entertainer at his core. So I think for this audience, anyone who's worked with talent, you know that there's a bit of just frankly dumb luck as well. So Jamie happened to be available. He happened to be interested in the category, happened to be interested in the brand. We looked at a lot of others, and we couldn't be happier with the selection of Jamie for our launch campaign.
That's cool. And how, you know, since we're here for Super Bowl, how important are tentpoles like the Super Bowl to, you know, attract new users and, you know, drive your business forward? or, those larger tentpoles just critically important to be a part of and develop creative for?
Yeah, the Super Bowl is a unique event. It is a massive acquisition event for our customers. We attract a lot of people, frankly, who might bet once a year. So we spend, like our competitors, we spend a small fortune attracting this base of customers. We have found historically that this base of customers, there's a good piece of this base that just frankly doesn't show up again until the next Super Bowl. There are other events, frankly, the start of the NFL season is one where people who are interested in betting week in, week out will show up in the start of the NFL season. And actually that peak is probably more important for us than, say, the Super Bowl.
Brett, what is the secret sauce? You come up with such amazing creative. One of the earlier sessions we're watching just the amazing work you were doing with the NFL. What is the secret sauce to develop an idea like this from a creative mindset?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think a couple of things. I think at 72, we look for more than just the right idea. We look for the idea that's undeniable. There's so many ways that we could go forward and solve problems, but really what we strive to do is to unlock the idea that feels so fresh, you can't stop thinking about it. And that to us is the sort of the beginning stage of this power of creativity that we believe so much in. And, and I think an idea is bigger than an ad. It's coming up with a platform that we can have a lot of fun developing lots of ideas and tactics off of, but it's all laddering up to a bigger story, bigger narrative, bigger point of view. And so, that's sort of how we approached it. But I think the secret sauce is trust. I think we said, whoever was here yesterday, you probably heard it a few times, but we're big believers that great relationships lead to great work. And it's not BS. Because when there is that mutual trust from a great relationship, we're sort of all focusing on the right things. You're having the right conversations. You're talking about the work. And the team and I are so fortunate to work with Matt and his team who are amazing. It's sort of the sky's the limit once you establish that the place of building off of trust. And I think the other thing that gets us to great is, and we say this a lot to our partners, is, and I think it sounds kind of funny, but it's something that has stuck with me since I started. We believe that ideas don't have feelings. So we can have hard conversations around the work. We don't take it personally. So sometimes when we tell our partners that, shoulders go down and we can really get honest and open about how they're feeling about work. And that's what helps us to sort of mold and shape it to get to great.
Yeah, if I can add, the evolution of our industry is one where the first piece of creative, the one we just showed, is focused on player acquisition, acquiring new players. We'll show the next ad, which maybe has some of the same tone to it, but also we're trying to more and more look to retain a base of customers. And the complexity in our category, frankly, if you show up in New Jersey and buy a Budweiser, it's the same Budweiser largely that you're going to buy in California. We are different in every single state. And in the state of Virginia, you can't bet on college sports in the state of Virginia. We are only a sportsbook brand. In the state of Pennsylvania, you can bet on many other regulated markets, and we are a casino brand. We are also a poker brand. And the challenge for us a bit is that if you're in New Jersey, you've been seeing advertising for 2 years. If you're in Arizona, you've been seeing it for 6 months. If you're in Louisiana, you've been seeing it for 6 days. And each customer base kind of goes through its own journey, and we're trying to match creative that fits a broad set of individual variances.
Is it challenging doing that across so many different platforms, right? I mean, you're able to take like one of the great Jamie Foxx spots and then utilize that for social, the open web, or engaging with TikTok or others. Is that part of kind of the strategy you work on with 72andSunny?
Yeah, absolutely. We try not to put Jamie into casino. We think that's a different. We leave Jamie in the sports category.
Yeah. Yeah, but it is about meeting people. I mean, like Matt was saying too, there's so much complexity to this. category, and each state is sort of on its own journey, and each human, frankly, is on their own journey of where they are. Whether they're just starting out, they need to get more education, help, versus some who are, pros. So I think it is about finding the right message that's going to land with the right audience and being really pointed that way. And I think the other thing, and we should show
the second spot.
Yeah, let's do that, and then we'll come back.
Hey, my man. Remember how intense I was when I was in the league?
Sure.
But now, I'm retired. Got everything on chill mode.
Chill mode, Mr. Garnett.
Chill mode. Boom! That's what I'm talking about. Big ticket hitting big parlays. Whose house is it?
Big Ticket's house?
Whose house is it?
Big Ticket's house!
What are you doing? You need that.
Just kidding, you went to Kevin, not Jamie, but maybe, could we play the other Jamie spot?
There's no better feeling than a win, except a BetMGM win. Goodbye. Woo! That one hurt good. You feel that? Yeah! Now you're winning with the king of sports picks. Come on.
So my question, you have these various spots, like as the product starts evolving, you're having different messaging. Are you finding there's a different set of core customers that are being attracted to the brand, like from various markets or various age brackets, or just in areas that you didn't even think you'd necessarily acquire new customers from, just from the talent itself?
Yeah, I think what you saw there was we leaned into sport with the second Jamie ad, and then the Kevin Garnett ad obviously is NBA focused for those people who recognize Kevin. Again, remarkable talent, just absolutely incredible. How he despite his Hall of Fame career, he's a full actor, and he's been great. Anyways, the Kevin plays to the NBA. It also is an example of a retention campaign, and one where we feel like we've attracted in one state where we've attracted a base of customers. You'll see more of the Kevin Garnett ad where we feel like we're speaking to with a tone of voice to an established base of customers.
Yeah. And interesting, just kind of a fun fact too, as we approach the making of, because we're existing in this intersection between sports and entertainment, even the directors that we're using, we're not picking up like sports directors. We're looking at directors that I think that the Jamie spot we just saw, that was a really famous music video director. Does stuff for like Kelly Clarkson, Taylor Swift, I think Coldplay, so some big names. And the same for the Kevin work that you saw, that was more of a comedy director. So I think even in the sensibility that we're bringing to the craft, we're looking beyond just sport to sort of continue to live the brand that we are authentically. Just kind of a fun little behind the scenes tip.
Now, Matt, what are you looking for in the big game, right? From just the bookmaker aspect of this, like what type of game do you want to see in the Super Bowl? What's going to be beneficial to BetMGM?
We are rooting. We are absolutely rooting for the Bengals. Sorry for all the LA fans. We are absolutely rooting for the Bengals. The entire industry is going to be rooting for the Bengals.
Rams. I've got Rams.
I know.
I'm a Cincinnati native originally, so I'm also from yes. They were also rooting for the under yeah. It's a low scoring game, but frankly, the NFL playoffs it's just been remarkable. The games in the conference championships, even a weekend prior, were just unreal.
So if this game goes into overtime, right? We just heard earlier about heads and tails of bets and how they pay off. Are you going heads or tails? That's an important one.
I'm going with whatever the Bengals have.
Do we have any questions from the audience? Or
Yeah.
Yes.
You got one right there. The question on the media side, I'm curious, what area within the game do you feel is the most beneficial to your character? Is it warning? Is it kickoff? Where the game is won?
Yeah, this to some extent is for right now. I was in this industry in the UK as well, and right now the higher value added advertising for us is at the start of the game, and then the run up to the start of the game. I think as the category evolves a bit, you'll see more and more in-play betting, and that right out of halftime break will also be important. But for right now, it's still pre-match, pre-game.
Any other questions?
As you're opening up in different states, different locations, are you looking at potentially doing more targeted marketing with like different locations? Sports people, or are you seeing different people differently in different states?
Yeah, in fact, we've been doing that as you described. Tennessee was one of our strongest states from a market share perspective. And a big piece of that is our relationship with the Titans, which has just been a phenomenal relationship, frankly. And our positioning of the brand in connection with the Titans has been really key in that state. We started locally because of the kind of state by state nature, and I think this year we'll actually start to think more nationally with local accents. If that makes sense.
You got time for reports.
So New York State just got approved, obviously. So how is it going in that state? I mean, it's really competitive. Fake news, legal taxes. How's everything going in that state right now?
Yeah, the volume in New York has been incredible. I'm a New York resident, and the weight of advertising has also been, frankly, incredible. Much bigger than we predicted, much bigger than I think most industry experts predicted. So it's all over New York, and we're seeing really active engagement amongst our customers. It's already one of our biggest states on most days.
And I can say our team is very happy because now we can use the app. Big win.
Let me grab your mic so that we can answer your questions.
Who?
We want to get it.
Okay, cool.
The producers give me direction.
Okay. I will talk on the mic. I saw your slide that had Jamie Foxx 1.0. Any indication what 2.0 or 3.0 might be?
Yeah, well, we had 2.0 too. And in the Jamie 2.0 version, we leaned in a bit more to sports. So 1.0 was a bit more introductory. And then, we sort of evolved to make sure that we're really clear on what the product is, right? And making sure that sports coming through loud and clear. And, the other thing, and then I don't know if you missed, we actually had other work that we showed too, but it's nice that we're able to, we talked a bit about this, but put out a variety of different stories, different narratives, so that we can meet people on their journey with different brand ambassadors to make sure that people are, we're building a relevance with the different spokespeople that we're using.
Awesome. Oh, we got one more guy. We got 5 more minutes for questions, so we'll get to your vote. Thank you.
So sports, more than probably anything else, there's just so much surrounding the game. There's so much talk, there's so much media, there's so much content, there's just passion around it. As we ebb from Super Bowl and move into the rest of the year, what are the content plans for BetMGM? How are you thinking about content throughout the rest of the year?
Yeah, so we tend to work with individual content producers, ambassadors with talent, call that matches individual seasons. So we will have a roster of talent associated with March Madness, which is our next big betting event, so to speak. And then it carries through. We do a lot of work, frankly, with Odyssey, who's behind you from a brand perspective. We do a lot of work in the baseball season with Odyssey and their talent. That group tends to resonate really well with baseball. People are interested in betting on baseball. Oh, perfect. You're a plant.
Can I just build on one thing too? Because I think that, even moving forward, we talked bit about, sort of this gold rush that we're existing in. And I think this being a big opportunity to, build our brand point of view and have that be clear. I think it is a lot of the block and tackle work that we're doing, plus peppering in, more actions from the brand that help to live our point of view between, entertainment and sport. So, I think it's amazing that BetMGM, the first bet placed from space was a BetMGM bet that happened, I think, September of 2021. So really cool, culturally relevant action from the brand. So I think more things like that, coupled with making sure that we are out there with the right message, that's the sweet spot, and the exciting part of this.
I love it. First bet from space. I didn't even realize that. That's great. We got one more, and I think we'll try. I'll try to get to you.
As a category, it's a bit of a hot topic or a little sensitive. How closely do you work with the leagues as they seem to be more accepting now? I mean, years ago, I formerly actually worked at the NFL. We weren't allowed in a casino. And now here they are embracing betting, wagering. So how has that evolved, and how closely do you continue to work with the leagues around what's taking place?
It is an evolution. I think that's the right word. We have strong relationships. We're an official partner or a partner with each of the major leagues. We follow very strict guidelines as it relates to when our advertising can appear and when it can appear. All of our advertising in the category is approved by the leagues, and they have an active role, particularly as we approach, say, a Kevin Garnett campaign. We'd certainly get some degree of approval from the NBA. So it is a very tight working relationship. We fully respect that the leagues are on a journey, and we frankly, as an industry, can't go too far too quickly.
I was curious about the demographics that you're going after. Totally, it seems to be male, except for the handsomeness of the talent. But I'm curious, do you have good stats on that, or do you try to bring in, women?
Yes, sports betting is absolutely male demographic, wide socioeconomic, range, I guess. Casino is more of a balance. We have a thriving casino business. That's probably closer to 60-40. But sports betting for the most part is a largely male activity.
All right. I mean, I've got like 10 questions of my own, but that's about all the time we have. So let's give a big round of applause. I believe your star, Jamie Foxx, was actually at our Super Bowl VIP experience dinner with the team. They had some sort of dance contest. I missed it, and that's why I'm here, because I'm like, I was never going to miss that again. But thank you so much. This was phenomenal.